Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning class. My name is Salsa Aulia. Usually people call me Salsa. I am a student majoring in mathematics education with my student number is K1322087. I will accompany your class for the next 15 minutes. Before we start this class on this occasion, it would be better for us to pray to our according respective religion and belief. Pray, begin. Pray is never enough. So, at this time, we will discuss about rule for trigonometry function. Later, we will discuss several things, namely the first, sine, cosine or tangen rule, second, graphic or trigonometry, the third, trigonometry identities. Okay, at this time, we will discuss about trigonometry function. Do you know what is trigonometry function? Trigonometric functions are functions related to angle. There are 6 trigonometric functions: sine, cosine, tangen, and their reciprocals cosecant, secant, and cotangen respectively. Sine, cosine, and tangen are the most widely used trigonometric functions. The first material is sine, cosine, or tangen rule. Please pay close attention. We will look at the 6 functions in trigonometry using the right triangle. Let this be angle theta. This will be the side adjacent to theta. This will be the side opposite to theta. And lastly is hypotenuse. We learn the formula of sine, cosine, and tangen function using the right triangle. The next is sine, cosine, or tangen rule. First, sin theta. Sin theta have formula opposite divided by hypotenuse equals A divided by C. Second, cos theta equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse equals B divided by C. Third, tan theta equals opposite divided by adjacent equals A divided by B. Then cosec theta. Cosec theta have a formula 1 divided by sin theta equals hypotenuse divided by opposite equals C divided by A. Next is sec theta. Sec theta have formula 1 divided by cos theta equals hypotenuse divided by adjacent equals C divided by B. And the last is cot theta. Cot theta have a formula 1 divided by tan theta equals adjacent divided by opposite equals B divided by A. Second material is graph of trigonometry function. In this occasion, we will discuss about 3 graphs of trigonometry function. There are graph of or trigonometry function y equals sin x, y equals cos x, and y equals tan x. Now, let's talk about graphing trigonometry function. Let's start with sine function. Sin x Basically, a sinusoidal function is a sine wave and that looks like at least that's one period. This end at 2p, that's one cycle of wave. Properties of the graph trigonometry function. The graph of trigonometry function y equals sin x has extreme values y maximum equals 1 and y minimum equals minus 1. The period is 2p. This wave has a period of 1 full rotation. Amplitude is farthest deviation of the trigonometric function. 1 equals 1 divided 2 times y maximum minus y minimum equals y. The value of x when x is 0 degrees, sin x is 0. When x 30 degrees, sin x 1 divided 2. X 45 degrees, sin x 1 divided 2 times square root of 2. X 60 degrees, sin x 1 divided 2 times square root of 3. X 90 degrees, sin x is 1. X 120 degrees, sin x 1 divided 2 times square root of 3. X 135 degrees, sin x 1 divided 2 times square root of 2. X 150 degrees, sin x 1 divided by 2. X 180 degrees, sin x is 0. When x is 210 degrees, sin x is minus 1 divided by 2. X 225 degrees, sin x is minus 1 divided by 2 times square root of 2. X 240 degrees, sin x is minus 1 divided 2 times square root of 3. X 270 degrees, sin x minus 1. X 30, x 300 degrees, sin x minus 1 divided 2 times square root of 3. X 350 degrees, sin x minus 1 divided 2 times square root of 2. When x is 3360 degrees, sin x is 0. And then, this is the graph of trigonometry function y equals cos x. Cosine starts at the top whereas sine starts at the cantons. So, that's one period of the cosine wave. Let me do that a little bit better, but it can continue going on forever. Property of the graph trigonometry function y equals cos x. Graph of the trigonometry function y equals cos x has extreme values y maximum equals 1 and y minimum equals minus 1. The period is 2p and the amplitude is the farthest deviation of the point trigonometric function from the horizontal line or x. 1 divided 2 times y maximum minus y minimum equals 1. The value of x when x 0 degrees, cos x is 1. X 30 degrees cos x 1 divided by 2 times square root of 3. X 45 degrees cos x 1 divided by 2 times square root of 2. X 60 degrees cos x 1 divided by 2. X 90 degrees cos x is 0. X 120 degrees cos x minus 1 divided by 2. X 135 degrees cos x minus 1 divided by 2 times square root of 2. X 150 degrees cos x minus 1 divided by 2 times square root of 3. X 180 degrees cos x is minus 1. X 210 degrees cos x minus 1 divided by 2 times square root of 3. X 225 degrees cos x minus 1 divided by 2 square root times square root of 2. X 40 degrees cos x minus 1 divided by 2. X 270 degrees cos x is 0. X 300 degrees cos x 1 divided by 2. X 315 degrees cos x 1 divided by 2 times square root of 2. X 330 degrees cos x 1 divided by 2 times square root of 3. X 360 degrees cos x is 1. Next is graph of the function y equals tan x. I mentioned before the k is really recognizing that tangan is sine divided by cosine. Now, that's important to recognize because it gives you a clue on where you to put the asymptote. The asymptote will happen wherever the bottom is equal to 0. So, you want to think back to what the graph of cosine look like and essentially put an asymptote everywhere. Cosine equal 0. Property of the graph of the function y equals tan x. Graph of the function y equals tan x half period is p. The second, the graph doesn't have extreme values. And the third, doesn't have an amplitude. And the last, the graph have vertical asymptote x equals p divided by 2 plus k times p. The value of x when x 0 degrees tan x is 0. X 30 degrees tan x 1 divided by 3 times square root of 3. X 45 degrees tan x 1. X 60 degrees tan x square root of 3. X 90 degrees tan x undefined. X 120 degrees tan x minus square root of 3. X 135 degrees tan x is minus 1. X 150 degrees tan x minus 1 divided by 3 times square root of 3. X 180 degrees tan x 0. X 210 degrees x 1 divided by 3 times square root of 3. X 225 degrees tan x 1. X 240 degrees tan x square root of 3. X 270 degrees tan x undefined x 300 degrees tan x minus square root of 3. X 315 degrees tan x minus 1. X 330 degrees tan x minus 1 divided by 3 times square root of 3. X 360 degrees tan x is 0. The last material is trigonometry identities. Trigonometry functions have identities sin square x plus cos square x equals 1. Sec x equals 1 divided by cos x. Sin square x equals 1 minus cos square x. Cosec x equals 1 divided by sin x. Cos square x equals 1 minus sin square x. Sec square x equals tan square x plus 1. Tan x equals sin x divided by cos x. Cosec square x equals cot square x plus 1. And the last, cot x equals cos x divided by sin x. It's over our discussion on this occasion. I hope what I convey can be useful for you and others. I apologize if in conveying there are still many shortcomings and mistakes. If there are words that are less pleasing, once more again I apologize. To close our meeting this time, let us pray according to our respective religions and belief. Prayer begins. Finish. Enough for today, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.